Hey there, welcome to Fluency Girls. I am Mandeep, your English coach. Today, in this lesson, we are going to train our brain to think in English. Now, the question is why train our brain to think in English? Often, ESL learners struggle with thinking in their native language and then translating it in their head before speaking. So that hampers their fluency and ultimately it affects their conversations. So think about it. If you are directly thinking in English, then it is easier for you to speak rather than translating. In today's lesson, I am going to give you 4 sure shot methods that have worked over a period of time practically with ESL learners to develop the habit of thinking in English. Now, not just these methods, but in the end, I am going to give you a bonus tip. So, stick with me to the end of this lesson so that you become a fluent and confident English speaker. Let's jump into the lesson. The first tip is think during everyday activities. Now, everyday activities, everyday chores that you perform, whether you are dressing up for work, whether you are making your bed or cooking in the kitchen, there are numerous activities that we perform every day. We perform these activities unconsciously without putting much thought into them. Start thinking these activities in your head. Thinking about these activities, okay, I am making my bed. This bedsheet looks a bit soiled. My clothes are wrinkled. I am going to iron them. These vegetables are so fresh. Let me quickly chop the vegetables. I am chopping the onions. I am going to sort the onions. So there are so many activities that we perform every day. Imagine what happens if we start describing these activities in our head in English language. When you start doing that, you develop this habit of thinking unconsciously in the English language. So particularly these activities, they don't involve conscious thought. You do not have to put much conscious thought into describing them. So initially make very simple statements, make very simple sentences. I am going to change the bedsheet. I am going to chop the onions. I'm going to roll the bread. Let me pour some water into the glass. I need to keep this dish in the fridge or it will get spoiled. So when you advance, your level advances, start changing the verb tense. You can change the verb tense like at present you are making the bed, you are changing the bed sheet. Change the verb tense, change the activity into past. Imagine it happened in the past. How would you describe it? I changed the bed sheet. This shirt was wrinkled. I ironed it out. When you do that, you are making sentence structures and you are learning to describe the same activity in response to different time periods. So eventually that helps you in thinking in English and thinking in respect to the various time periods using various verb tenses. Trust me, every day in our conversation we happen to either describe our experiences, tell people about our experiences or the present activities that we are doing or what are our plans about future. So if you start doing that in your head, you quickly start training your mind to think in English and directly speak rather than translating. Now we have learned to think in English. What else do we need to do? We are already training ourselves to think in English. But we need to practice to speak out loud. Trust me, thinking in our head, in our mind, is not the same as opening our mouth to speak. Very often, the words they sound different in our mind, but when we speak them, the pronunciations don't come right or the tongue needs to be twisted a bit. Since we are used to speaking our native language, every language has a different accent and different way of enunciation. So you need to practice your tongue to speak the language as well. Now for that, one thing I suggest is reading out loud. Read a piece of paper, whether it's a newspaper, newspaper article, a magazine article, or a book, whatever you like, read it aloud every single day, at least for 15 to 20 minutes. So that helps in training your tongue, your muscles. That is one point. Another is that you need to speak the language with someone. Now, what do you do if you do not have anybody to talk to? If nobody speaks around you in English language, then you do it on your own. How do you do it? You can take any random topic to speak about for a minute at length. Try to speak on the topic for a minute at length. Do not worry about any grammar, any structure, sentence structures, or to use fancy vocabulary words. Use very simple words. Your goal is to achieve communication in English. The vocabulary will eventually follow. Now, if you're able to record yourself, it's even better. If you record yourself, initially, when speaking, you are speaking without thinking about any grammar structure, any sentence structure, any particular words. You might happen to use another word that is not quite appropriate in that position. But when you listen to the recording, you come to know about your mistakes on your own, whether you are pronouncing certain words correctly, and then you can also search about what words I could have used instead of this word that I am speaking. So that also helps you in bringing improvement in your speaking. So how does it help you as a learner? The best part is when you are speaking without thinking much and you are just simply recording yourself, it doesn't hamper your expression of speech because you are not thinking much about it. You are just speaking what's coming in your mind, and when you listen to it, then you can think about all the grammar structures, the vocabulary, and this brings the required improvement in the language as well as in speaking. So this brings the improvement in the spoken language as well as the overall language expression. Now the third activity, this one is my favorite and it works the best. This is describing pictures. Yes, you can take any pictures randomly, just type any topic or anything in Google Images, search images only. So whatever images pop out in front of you, first page, pick any picture and start describing it. Now you can describe what you see in the picture, the background, the color scheme. You can talk about the action that is happening in the picture, and then you can also anticipate. You can try to guess what must have happened before it and what is going to happen after this action. So that will help you practice the present. What you see in picture, that will be present tense. You will be using mostly present tense to describe that. And when you anticipate, when you imagine what might have happened before this action, you are using the past tense. You are using the past tense which can be used to describe the experiences. And when you are talking about what will happen after this picture, you are going to use future tense. So this will involve the usage of all the tenses, and it will also help you practice your spoken English and make it better. Let's take an example here. I have a picture here. Let's try describing it. So what do you see in this picture? Well, the center focus point in this picture is a family of four walking through the fields. It looks like a small happy family. The father is holding the younger one, while the mother is holding the hand of the elder one. Or you can say the father is holding the younger child and the mother is holding the hand of the elder child. The field that the family is standing in is covered in dry grass. Does it seem like morning time or evening time to you? It seems like the sun is setting behind the hills, right? So you can see the light emanating from behind the hills and the sun is setting. This picture seems to catch a joyful moment of the family. Do you think the family is on a holiday? The family seems to have taken a holiday after a long time. The girl seems to be telling the mom to follow her to see something else. The mother is looking lovingly at the girl. The young child seems to be looking at the cameraman. So you can use various details. You can describe just the background, or you can anticipate the action that is happening. And the interesting part about this activity is that everybody seems to have a different perspective, and everybody comes up with different answers. So this activity works wonderfully to improve your fluency, to work on your spoken English. Now, the last activity that I have for you that you can do every single day is summarizing your day. So, while training your brain to think in English, summarizing your day in an audio can be a wonderful way to work on your spoken English. You can prepare a short summary every single day to reflect on the activities done in the day, and it can train your mind wonderfully to think in English and speak in English. Now, you can summarize your day, the best part of your day, the worst part of your day. What did you anticipate from the day? What were your expectations and what it turned out to be? It doesn't just have to be at the end of the day. At any time of the day, when you find the time to record yourself, to summarize, you can just summarize up to that point. Like, you can summarize your mornings. If you find time in the evening to record yourself, you can summarize your morning and afternoon. And similarly, you can summarize, if you're recording in the afternoon, you can simply summarize how hectic your morning was, or was it a slow morning or a fast morning, and what you did. So summarizing is great way. It is just another way where you describe your everyday activities, but then you are putting your thoughts also in the words, in the right words, because you are thinking about all those activities and what were your expectations, what were your hopes. So develop a habit of summarizing your day every day in an audio. So the more you practice this, the better you become. Now, the bonus tip that I have for all of you here is the total immersion in the language. Total immersion, by total immersion, I mean surround yourself with the language, whether it is watching news, movies, listening to songs, reading articles, social media. Develop the habit of immersing yourself in your target language. Here it is English. The more you surround yourself with the language, the better your brain will become to absorb the language from the natural surrounding. So I hope that these tips will work for you and you'll implement these in your everyday life in order to improve your language and improve your spoken English. And I'm soon going to begin with the live sessions. Let me know in the comment section what topics would you like me to cover in the live sessions. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and press that bell icon to get the notifications, and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week with another lesson. Till then, happy learning.